Okay, so artificial intelligence, AI. It feels like it's absolutely everywhere, right? It's in our phones, our cars, our jobs. But with all the hype, all the noise, what is it really? Let's dig in and figure that out together. And that really is the big question, isn't it? It's so easy to get caught up in the sci-fi stuff, you know? But what we're going to do here is push all that aside and get to the reality of it. What AI actually is, how it works, and maybe most importantly, how we can all use it responsibly. All right, first things first, we've got to get the basics down. Let's separate what's real from what you see in the movies. So here's the absolute key difference. When we think as humans, we're using understanding, awareness, intent. We get things. AI, it doesn't work that way. It's all about recognizing mathematical patterns. But, and this is a big but, it does it with incredible speed and at a massive, massive scale. It's just a fundamentally different way of thinking. Okay, so this gives us a really solid, simple definition to work with. At its core, AI is just a computer system that's designed to do stuff that normally needs a human brain. And it does it by finding mathematical patterns in data. That's it. It's not thinking, it's not conscious, it's just really, really good at math and spotting patterns. The system isn't understanding anything, it's just figuring out what's statistically most likely based on all the examples it's seen before. And just as important is knowing what AI is not. And this is huge. It is not a conscious thinking brain. It doesn't have emotions or desires. It doesn't understand the meaning behind words. And it definitely can't reason about what's right or wrong. It can't want anything. Whatever it spits out is just a super sophisticated prediction. And keeping that in mind, that is the absolute key to using it safely. So you might be thinking, hang on, haven't scientists been talking about AI for decades? And you'd be right. So why does it feel so new, so now? Well, it's because a few massive things all happened at once. We suddenly had a ton of data, what we call big data. Then our computers got way, way faster. And finally, the internet put all of that power right at our fingertips. It was like the perfect storm of technology, really. Okay, so how does this whole learning thing actually work? Let's pop the hood for a second. I promise we won't get too technical and see what's going on. Turns out it's all about the examples. You see, this is a total game changer from old school programming. Back in the day, you had to write a rule for every single possibility. If this happens, do that. It was exhausting. Modern AI, totally different. You don't give it rules. You just show it millions and millions of examples. Like if you want it to know what a cat is, you show it a gazillion pictures of cats. It figures out the patterns of what makes a cat all by itself. And this whole process really breaks down into two main phases. Phase 1 is training. This is the behind-the-scenes part where the system crunches through massive data sets and learns all those patterns. Then you have phase 2, using. This is where we come in. We're interacting with the system after it's already been trained. This is what you're doing when you use ChatGPT or a navigation app. And this brings us to probably the single most important idea in all of AI. The quality of its training data is everything. If the data you feed it is incomplete or biased or just plain wrong, then the AI's answers will have those exact same problems. Think about it like this. Say you train an AI to screen resumes. You feed it 10 years of hiring data from a company that, maybe without realizing it, mostly hired men. What does the AI learn? It learns that a key pattern for a good candidate is being male. So it'll start filtering out amazing, qualified women. Not because it's evil, but because it's just repeating the biased pattern it was taught. That's what we mean when we say garbage in, garbage out. And that right there helps explain why AI makes mistakes, or what some people call hallucinations. The system is designed for one thing, creating an answer that looks right and sounds fluent. It's a pattern matching machine. It is not designed to understand context or check if something is actually true. That's why it can say something completely wrong with total confidence, because the wrong sentence just happens to fit the mathematical pattern it learned. Okay, so we've got a handle on what AI is and how it learns. Now let's talk about its impact on our world, because this isn't just about code and data. It's a tool that acts like a mirror, reflecting the world it learned from, warts and all. You might not even notice it, but AI is already woven into the fabric of our daily lives. That navigation app that helps you dodge a traffic jam, that's AI. The fraud alert you get from your bank, AI. The smart assistant in your kitchen, yep, that's AI too. We're using these things all day, every day. And this brings us to a really critical point. An AI system is not neutral. It can't be. It's a reflection of the data we give it. And since that data comes from us, from our history, our books, our internet, it's packed with all of our existing biases and inequalities. The AI isn't making a moral judgment, it's just amplifying the patterns that are already there. So how does this bias actually get into the system? Well, it's a pretty simple chain of events. Step 1, we collect historical data that already has biases in it. Step 2, the AI studies that data and learns those biases as simple patterns. And step 3, the AI produces results that, you guessed it, reflect those original biases. Seeing that clear line from A to B to C is so important for understanding why we can't just blindly trust AI outputs. So when an AI makes a biased decision, who's to blame? This is really important. The answer is always human. It's the organizations that build and use the AI. It's the professionals who rely on its outputs. It's us as individuals. You can't blame the tool. The accountability always stays with us. Which brings us to this golden rule. AI should assist our decision-making, not replace it. The whole point is to use it as an incredible assistant, something that can summarize information, brainstorm ideas, spot patterns we might miss. But the final call, the judgment, the context, the ethics, that has to come from a person. All right, so how do we take all this knowledge and actually put it into practice? In this last section, we're going to get super practical and give you a toolkit for using AI responsibly and, effectively. If you're just starting out with this stuff, look, don't feel like you have to be an AI genius by tomorrow. Take it slow. For the first little while, just start noticing where AI shows up in your day. Then maybe start using it for some low-stakes tasks like drafting an email or coming up with ideas. And from there, you can slowly start to apply it to more important work, but always with you in the driver's seat, double-checking everything. It's kind of ironic, but in a world filled with AI, our human skills are more valuable than ever. Things like critical thinking, knowing how to ask the right questions, communicating clearly, being adaptable, these are the new power skills. This isn't about learning to code. It's about learning to think clearly. Seriously, if you remember only one thing from this whole explainer, let it be this. Treat anything an AI gives you as a starting point. It's a rough draft. It's an idea generator. It is not, and I repeat, not the final authority on anything. And to wrap that up, here are 3 core safety rules. These are non-negotiable. 1, never, ever share personal or confidential data with a public AI. Just don't. 2, always verify any important information it gives you with a source you actually trust. And 3, remember, you are the one responsible for the final outcome. Period. At the end of the day, the goal here isn't to become dependent on AI. It's to understand it, to know what it's good at and what it's terrible at. Because true confidence comes from that understanding, not from blindly relying on a tool. So that leaves us with this final thought. AI is this incredible tool that can assist us in amazing ways, but it doesn't understand anything. And that means the responsibility for what happens next, for how this powerful tool shapes our world, that responsibility is always on us. So the real question is, are we ready to take it?